February of 2020 is when I started breaking the news on the channel that the GR Corolla was in the works and coming to America. Built in Japan alongside of the GR Yaris. And I've made over 30 videos since then on the GR Corolla, and I have a huge passion for this vehicle, if you can't tell already. And stay to the end because last week I drove the refreshed GR Corolla and the 8-speed auto, the new addition to the GR Corolla. I drove it on track. All right, so wait for my track impressions of that 8-speed auto at the end of this video. I think you guys will get a kick out of it. But one of the things that always made the GR Corolla so special is that it was made by Takumi craftsmen at the Motomachi plant in Japan. And there's no doubt some of those craftsmen also worked on the legendary Lexus LFA V10 supercar. Now with the recent news coming out, the GR Corolla is ending production in Japan. Guys, if you're new to the channel, my name's Kirk. I talk about cars all the time. I just came back from Toyota headquarters in Plano, Texas. Revealed a ton of new cars for you. Got the new RAV4 for you. All the new electrified options as well. I drove the LX and GX off-road, which was just amazing. And the GR Corolla on track. So make sure you subscribe. More Toyota content, of course, coming just about every single day. There's also a backlog of stuff I got to get through. All right, including some high-performance Lexus, maybe F models. All right, so stay tuned for that. But let's get into the latest news about the GR Corolla. We're over at Reuters. Toyota to move some GR Corolla production to Britain. Guys, we just got a political update with Britain. They don't pay 25% tariffs on the first 100,000 cars they send to the United States. They only pay 10% tariffs. Is this part of that? No. Apparently, this was decided well before the tariffs went into effect. I think I have an idea why they're doing this, but we'll discuss that at the end after we get over the details. Toyota to transfer production of North American bound GR Corolla from Japan. All right. Well, that would probably also mean European bound ones too, but it's hard to say. Toyota is spending over $55 million on a dedicated line and dispatching engineers from Japan to make sure it's built properly. The move is aimed at using excess capacity in Britain. Okay. Well, I made a video a couple months, it feels like a couple months ago when the tariffs went into effect, or right before they went into effect, that Toyota was considering sending the hatchback Corolla that's made in Britain, hopefully the wagon made in Britain, to the United States as well. I don't know if that will happen, but this GR Corolla being built in Britain and sent to the United States seems to be a lock. And it's just interesting because Honda was making the last generation Type R in Britain, and actually a few generations. But they're all made in Japan now. It's kind of like a reversal of roles where the GR Corolla is going to Britain and the Type R went to Japan. Now, so Reuters is getting this from two different people, okay? Which when you have information like this, you need to have double sourcing minimum to make sure this is a credible news piece. So by shifting some production from Japan, Toyota aims to use excess capacity in Britain to help it cut delivery wait times of the car. The move was not in reaction to US tariffs on imports. Apparently, Toyota hasn't been able to keep up with the demand in North America. Well, let's hold the phone there. Apparently, yeah, these are the new 25s. There are 800 GR Corollas in the United States, and there are 300 Civic Type Rs. Now, they cost relatively the same. I feel like they're all going to be over $40,000, both of these models. And some people say, well, that's just a sticker price. You're going to end up paying more for a Type R. It's possible. There's about the same amount of Elantra Ns, 827, as we have about 800 GR Corollas in America available. And there's only 566 GTIs. So it feels, unless there's some sort of extra demand on the GR Corolla versus GTI versus an Elantra N versus a Type R, it's just hard to believe that there's a lack of volume to meet the demand in the United States for a $40,000+ hot hatch. So production will be set up at the Burniston plant in Derbyshire, and invest around $56 million to produce 10,000 cars annually for export for North America from the middle of 2026. I mean, are we going to have a next-gen GR Corolla by then? And the answer is I highly doubt it. I think the Corolla is going to keep getting pushed back for a next generation for maybe 2 to 3 more years. And maybe the GR Corolla continues on as its own thing, separate from the standard Corolla lineup. That's a possibility. Berniston began in 1992 and possesses advanced production technology and has suffered a decline in production since Brexit. And the plant produces the Corolla hatchback. It produces a Corolla wagon as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they made the Corolla sedan too, but don't quote me on that. And engineers are being temporarily dispatched from Japan to share production technology and other expertise. Of course, they got to train these people in Britain to be able to produce a GR Corolla along the same quality as those in Japan. You might be saying good luck, but hey, I don't know. Would I trust people in Britain making it over if they were to make it in Mississippi? I'll let you guys decide that, because in Mississippi, they make the Corolla sedan. So it wouldn't make sense for the GR Corolla to be built in Mississippi since they make the sedan there, not the hatchback. Toyota said, as a response to this, to Reuters, that it's always looking ways to optimize production. And they have not publicly announced this change yet. So it seems like it's inevitable that this is going to happen. So they talk about how the GR Corolla is built in Motomachi, on specifically the GR plant inside of Motomachi. It's its own specific area where they build these vehicles. Here are my thoughts on this. I think that going to Britain makes sense, not to increase production of the GR Corolla. It's to move production of the GR Corolla to a facility that can actually produce them, because in Japan, they're going to be making something much more grand. The successor to the LFA, also known as the Lexus LFR or the GR GT3, whatever it comes out as, or maybe it could come out as both, it's going to be probably built in Motomachi. And they just don't have the resources there probably for another like Halo car to be made alongside of a GR Yaris. And I think the LBX Marizo is made in Motomachi as well in the GR factory. Are they going to produce the 3-cylinder engines in Britain? I don't know. Are they going to ship them in from Japan, the G16E engines? I'd say that's a likely possibility. It's just seemingly convenient at this point that it also more than likely we'll see, because if these GR Corollas aren't, I mean, if some of them will be produced in the first 100,000 vehicles exported from Great Britain into the United States. After that, individually, the models will be hit with a 25% import tariff. Toyota doesn't want to increase prices at all, despite tariffs happening. They are probably going to eat the cost as long as they can. And then you have, CEO from Volvo saying, hey, the customer has to eat the cost. These companies can't. But you have to look at Volvo. Volvo is struggling financially. Their price on the stock market is trash. And so they're doing they just laid off 3,000 people, Volvo. And of course, they're not going to say that they're going to eat the costs of tariffs. It's going to be passed on to the customer, which good luck. This situation is just so hard for so many companies. The GR Corolla, am I sad that Japanese people won't be building it? I guess. Is it as like sacrilegious to me as like if the Land Cruiser were produced elsewhere? No, nowhere close. But look, all Lexus models used to be built in Japan, and now like half of them are built in Canada for the United States market with the NX and RX up there. We build the ES in the United States for now. That will end. I think December has been pushed back maybe to December as the new ES that I just previewed for you guys will be imported from Japan. They're just going to be hit with tariffs. So it's just crazy, the world right now. But the funny thing is that while this seems to be in response to tariffs, this was all decided well before tariffs. Like I said, more than likely to make room for a new Halo sports car for the Toyota and Lexus lineups, and a new racing car as well with the Lexus LFR. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know what to think of this news. It is what it is. There's probably mid 2026 and beyond, your GR Corolla is going to be made in Britain. It's weird, but that's just the way of the world. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, guys, we're at Eagles Canyon Raceway for HQC 2025. I haven't driven the GR Corolla with the new 8-speed automatic. The red one back there for 2025 also has a manual, but the 8-speed is all new. We have a new front bumper here. Honestly, it looks better in person than it does in pictures, but I still think I like the looks of the pre-refresh a little bit better. There's better airflow here, as you can see right there as well. All right, beautiful car, still beautiful car. Got the carbon fiber roof here. Let's get inside. Ooh. Let's fire her on. Let's get this AC cranking. There we go. It's weird. It's actually really weird being in this car with an automatic. Like, I immediately reached for the clutch pedal. All right, so I just done 2 laps, not in manual mode. Okay, so now that I'm in manual mode, this vehicle is going to perform much more to my liking. It's so much better in manual mode than in just standard drive. Yeah, it's giving me much better access to second gear. And the throttle seems to be a little bit touchier in manual mode. I don't know if it's just placebo, or maybe it's just because I'm in the right gear the whole time, or the gear that I want to be in anyways, that I know it's more predictable. There we go, yeah. I have so much better visibility in here compared to the BRZ slash, gosh, I keep calling the BRZ the GR86, but there's significantly more body roll. I don't feel like I have the same grip in the turns. Obviously under acceleration, I have all the grip with the 4-wheel drive system here. Oh yes, it lets you bang it off the rev limiter like an LC500. That's something it won't let you do in the regular drive mode. Oh yeah. So that's so much better than, so I did 2 laps, guys. I did 2 laps in standard drive mode, not in the M mode. And you get into M mode by just slapping the shifter to the left, okay? You put it into drive and you just slap it to the left, it gets into the manual mode, and that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be if you're pushing this car with the paddle shifters, all right? It's happy space. And you can keep the gears, and like it's just so much more aggressive with allowing you to grab that second gear on this track, and so much more predictable, because in just standard drive mode, it shifts when it wants to, and you'll be mid-turn, or you're just not in the optimal gear. All right, in manual mode, it makes it so much easier to be in the right gear, and the car is so much happier around a track. So I came away not impressed in drive mode and happily impressed in manual mode. So you guys like my ridiculous helmet and hair? Yeah, the GR Corolla, it's actually, and it's really good in manual mode. It's snoozy in drive mode, and
I didn't even talk about like pushing I'm in track, I'm in GR track, which is 70% to the rear. And then there's also different sport modes too. Well, I'm in custom mode right now, so it is there's a lot to it, but the most important thing for you to get the most out of this gearbox is to make sure you are in the manual mode by slapping it to the left. So I'm gonna end it there. Thank you guys. Catch you in the next one, and more from HQC 2025.